So today I'm going to show you how to create a Nearpod lesson from scratch. So once you sign in, you're going to see a screen something like this. My library is where you will find all of your lessons that you do create. So today we're going to create and click on create. And creating lessons from scratch is a lot like PowerPoint or Google Slides to start off with. If you think of it that way, you're adding slides sort of the same way. The difference with a Nearpod is that you can add in some interactive slides and things. So let's title this. Let's pretend today we're making a lesson on the battles of the American Revolution. So let's call it that. And our first slide, we're going to click on Add a Slide. And there are three types of content that you can add. You can add content, web content, and activity. And then under these categories, there's a bunch of different things. So let's start off with content. And when you click content, within content, you can add a slide. And then within slide, there's a bunch of things that we'll go through. The 3D content is sort of what they showed you in the training with that whale. And she kind of showed you how you can manipulate it. We'll look at that. Field trips is another. Sway is a Microsoft program, so you can import other things that you might have done in their presentation, slideshow. Let's just focus on slide right now. So slide is the one that's mostly like a PowerPoint or Google slide. So once you do that, you'll see that you have options to add text, video, images, or even GIFs, which are like those little animations. So you can get rid of this box to start working by either clicking the X or clicking away. So I'll click the X, and since this is going to be my title slide, I'll start up here and call it Battles of the American Revolution. And then down here, maybe since this is my title slide, I'll add an image. So I'm going to click on the plus sign to bring this back up, and I'm just going to look for an image. So when you insert an image, you can search right here for Google. You can upload ones that might be on your computer already. You can upload images that might be in your Google Drive already. Even if you use Dropbox, that's the symbol for Dropbox. If you have photos and things saved there, and then these are other symbols. This is OneDrive, Microsoft. So if you're using that program and you have images saved there, and Box is another program. I don't have anything saved, so I'm just going to search Google right now. I'll just click this one for now. And then here's my title slide. So I'm going to save that. And now I want to add a slide. So I'm going to add more content. And I'm going to go back to slide. And let's say I want to add a video this time. Maybe I'm going to show them an introductory video. That would bring up YouTube. So again, I'm going to search. You probably would have previewed battles. Right, I'm just going to click on this first one. And if you notice when you click on it, you do have the play button, so you can actually preview it right here if you haven't already done that. I'm going to click on that one. It will insert it. And the nice thing is, too, that this is embedded, so you can play it right from here. When they're playing this Nearpod presentation, it doesn't take them out to another window. They watch it right from this presentation. Okay, and you can add a title here. So, or directions, even though this is a title window, you can't put a whole lot in there, but I'm just going to say, watch this video. And I'm going to save that one. And then maybe I want to get a bunch of resources to have them watch something so that I can add an activity in there. So I'm going to add another slide. And maybe this time I want to add web content. I want to send them to a web page that has a listing of battles. So at this point, this is not a place where you can search, but maybe I know of a website. So I already have another tab up here from the History Channel opened up. And maybe this is the site I want to direct them to. So I'm just going to copy this link. And then I'm going to go back to Nearpod. And I'm going to paste it in here. And save it. So that when they get to that slide, it will direct them to go to a website page. And now let's go to the activity, because this is where Nearpod is different than just a PowerPoint presentation or a Google slide. So the activities that you can add are, you can add an open-ended question, you can add a poll, you can add a quiz, you can add a draw it question. Collaborating is something where they can all work together. You can add a fill in the blanks, and you can add a memory test, which is like an old-fashioned, you pick up the cards and you try to match them. So think of Nearpod as a presentation that's on each of the students' computers, and they each have their own presentation. So instead of everyone watching you standing up at the front, they're watching the presentation on their computer, because you're going to give them a code at the beginning of class, so each of them has their own individual presentation so that they can each do this activity. So let's say you're going to add an open-ended question. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, and they're going to give you tips the first time, which is helpful, because if you need them, you can use them. I'm just going to click OK, got it now, because I'm showing you. Okay, and what's the question? So let's say, write down 5 facts about the battles. And you click Save. So at this point in the presentation, the students will all stop and have to actually write that. So they would type it out and they would answer that question. Let's add a slide. Let me show you some of the other activities. You can actually add a poll. So you can ask a question like, which side do you agree with? And you can have British or English. Oh, say American. Okay, you can allow the students to answer several times. There's a couple of different options here. You could save it. Okay, so let's save this now. All right, I'm not going to worry about this right now, the grades and all that. I guess we have to. All right, we'll just pick something for now. And it's social studies. Okay, now this brings you back to your dashboard where your lessons are. So now when you are ready to give this to the students, when you click and hover over that, you see the two options. I'm just hovering over right now and then off. If you ever want to go back in, so we're not finished, you want to edit, you would click here to continue adding questions. Okay? But for now, to show you what this would look like if you were going to present this to your students, you have two options. You can give this as a student-paced lesson, which means the students would go through it at their own pace. So each of them would be pacing the students themselves. So it would be an independent practice. That might be a good thing if you were out for the day. If you had a sub and you wanted to let them do that on their own, that would be a good thing. But if you wanted to do this as a whole class live lesson, you would do live lesson. So I'm going to show you that now just so you can see what that would look like, which means you advance the slides. So the students can't go ahead until you actually advance the slides. So when the students go to Nearpod, they would put this code in, which I think a lot of you did in the training. Okay, so I'm going to X this out so we can move on. Okay, the code always stays here at the top, so if students come in late, you can always give it to them, and the students each have that code.